The age-old question. Should I get my license if I want to be a real estate investor? Now, today we are going to be covering that topic because that is a question I get so often. Now, before we get started, do not forget that applications for the Leap Year Mastermind are now live. And yes, this will include a retreat to Italy. So if you are a woman who knows that they were built for more, who knows that they were meant for more, who knows that they are on the cusp of something big and they are in this shift, in this vortex where they are about to up level and want to be surrounded by other women who are doing the same and want to go on an all expenses paid trip to Italy, make sure to apply. I'm going to be personally vetting out every application. And if you are selected, I will be reaching out to you for an interview. And yes, this is a rigorous process because there were literally only 10 spots available. So don't forget to apply using the link in my bio, and I will see you in Italy. Okay, so back to the topic, right? Should I get my real estate license? Now, I get this question a lot because honestly, similar to what I used to think, right, is that you needed to have your real estate license in order to be a good real estate investor. But what people don't realize that being a real estate agent is extremely different than being a real estate investor. And while, yes, I did start my journey off as a real estate agent, that was also because I did not know what a real estate investor was, to be fair. So first, I'm going to tell you my story, a little bit about why I got my real estate license when I was beginning my real estate investor journey. We're going to talk about the differences between a real estate agent versus a real estate investor, the pros and cons to both, and then finally answer, should you actually get your real estate license? And who should actually get their real estate license? Okay, so first off, back in 2020, I did get my real estate license. The end of 2020, I got my license. I started studying for it during the summer, end of summer. And this was because I was in $25,000 worth of credit card debt. And at the time, I was so depressed in my corporate job and just kind of knew that this wasn't going to be what I wanted to do long term. I was an engineer in the oil and gas industry, working in operations, which to be fair was the only field I was willing to work in. But I also knew this was something that I didn't want to do long term. And so I was looking for other methods, other careers I could possibly do. And I heard people made money in real estate. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I can show houses, right? I can sell pretty houses. Why don't I just get my real estate license? And that way I can learn about real estate, get paid to learn about real estate, and also pay off my credit card debt. At this time, I had no idea what a real estate investor was. I didn't really understand rentals. Like, yes, I was living in a rental at that time, but I didn't really understand like how that worked. And in no way, shape, or form did I think that I would be able to buy a property. Like I said, I was in $25,000 worth of credit card debt. Buying a house, I thought would happen like maybe when I was 30 kind of situation. At the time, I was 25, 26 years old. And so I start studying for my real estate license. And at first, I'm just, doing it after work, kind of getting through it slowly. It took me 2 months to go through a couple of modules because I was in no real rush. But then I started listening to podcasts about real estate investing. At first, I was actually finding podcasts about being a real estate agent and just real estate in general because I wanted to get kind of hyped up and in the zone. And then that's when I stumbled on real estate investing podcasts, specifically the Bigger Pockets podcast. Hey girl, if you've been dreaming about building generational wealth and living life on your own terms, this one's for you. Now, 5 years ago, I was right where you are, okay? Burnt out, working a corporate engineering job, grinding with no real freedom in sight. Then I bought my first investment property, learned how to live for free, and started making money in my sleep. That one decision changed absolutely everything. I stopped relying on my 9 to 5 and eventually walked away from it for good. And trust me, I don't regret it. Now I'm on a mission to help other people do the same, which is exactly why I created Wanderlust Wealth Academy, a transformational program and community where I teach you how to buy your first or next investment property and live for free in 2025. Now, this community is for 3 kinds of people, okay? If you are stuck in a job that you don't love, secretly dreaming of more freedom, more travel, and more passive income, and you know you don't want to be climbing the corporate ladder for the next 10, 20, 30 years, this is for you. Or maybe you're a digital nomad or a travel girly who just wants to build wealth and create stability without giving up your freedom. Or maybe you're a business owner or high-earning corporate baddie who just sees the market volatility and knows that it's time to diversify your income. If any of those sound like you and you're making at least $75,000, ideally 6 figures, and have a minimum of $10,000 that you can put towards a property, then go ahead and apply for the Wanderlust Wealth Academy. Now, this is going to be a completely free call to see if you're a good fit for us and also for us to see if we're a good fit for you. You can go ahead and apply at oliviatati.com/apply WWA. That's oliviatati.com/apply WWA, or you can just go ahead and click the link in the show notes. Now, spots are limited. We only take a few new folks a month, so make sure to apply now before there are no spots left, and they go pretty quick. Because my girl, freedom is so much closer than you think. And that completely rocked my world. It changed everything for me. At this time, I was also getting more into personal development. Yes, so I'd read a book by Brene Brown called The Gifts of Imperfection, and I realized that I was just like holding so much. That's really when I realized there was so much more out there for me in terms of my life, in terms of personal growth, in terms of my career. And so that's really when I was like, I need to be a real estate investor, because I had learned about house hacking. I had learned about short-term rentals or Airbnbs, and it all just made sense to me. And so that is when I was on a mission to pay off all of my credit card debt and buy my first property, like a year after that, basically. I gave myself a year to sit down, buckle down, pay off all my debt, and buy my first investment property. And at that point, even before I'd purchased my first investment property, I kind of already knew that being a real estate agent wasn't what I wanted to do long term. I was ready to go all in though, and like work on it part time, because I was, working my full time corporate engineering job. And then I also was tutoring on the side. And then I also became someone's social media manager. But I knew that I really wanted to become a real estate investor. That really is what seemed like freedom to me. But I got my license because, once again, I was in credit card debt. I wanted to pay off all of that debt in whatever way it took. I wanted to make as much money, any money I possibly could. I was willing to get scrappy. I was willing to like put my best foot forward, work a crap ton, and pay everything off so I could buy my first property and save up more money. And so that's exactly what I did. Within 8 months, I'd paid off all of my credit card debt. I'd saved up an extra $25,000 to buy my first property, and got under contract on my very first investment property, which was a duplex in New Orleans. And then basically for the next year, I continued to sell houses as extra pocket money, basically, that I would just put into my savings. I would put into like stocks. I was just stacking up cash while house hacking any way that I could, so that I would have more of a financial cushion if I ever decided to move jobs or quit my job, if I ever decided to move jobs or switch my career or just quit my job, whatever I wanted to do. Okay, so what actually is a real estate agent versus what is a real estate investor? A real estate agent is someone who helps you buy and sell a house. Like literally, what you see on Selling Sunset, right? That is a real estate agent. They are the person who are going with you to a property. They're going to show you a house. They're going to help share any documents about the house. They're going to help you through the transaction process of actually buying a house, getting it under contract, going through inspections, doing appraisals, and closing on the property. And then they say bye-bye. Okay. It's transactional, right? That is what a real estate agent is. And so when I was working my corporate job, I was helping, mainly it was my coworkers or people from social media who found me to buy or sell their house. So yes, I told everyone, including all of my coworkers, that I had gotten my real estate license, and I would happily help them buy and sell their house. Now, a real estate investor is someone who buys houses themselves, and they can either flip them, and some people would argue that flippers aren't real estate investors. I still consider them to be real estate investors. They either flip them, they rent them out. They can rent them out as a short-term rental, a long-term rental, a midterm rental, and they actually own the property themselves and collect rental income on the property. That is a real estate investor, and people who will improve the property, right? And that's when you actually get like the tax benefits from owning real estate. That's where that comes from. There are other tax benefits for being a real estate professional. And if you're a real estate agent, you are a real estate professional too. But that is kind of out of the scope of this. But in order to be a real estate investor, you actually have to have ownership and invest in properties. You're not just like helping out with the transactions. This is what a lot of people don't know. Most real estate agents do not know anything about real estate investing. A lot of real estate agents have actually never owned a property themselves. When I first became a real estate agent, I didn't own any properties. I was helping other people buy properties, but I personally did not own any properties until I bought my first one. And also, whenever you get your real estate license, you will learn nothing about real estate investing. If that is your goal, is you want to learn about real estate investing, don't become a real estate agent. Like, it will not teach you anything about real estate investing. Everything I learned about real estate estate investing, I learned myself through podcasts, through books, and through like joining people's coaching programs, through getting into spaces with other real estate investors. So, like WWA, my coaching program, that teaches you how to invest in real estate. So, if you want to learn how to invest in real estate, go ahead and book a call. The link is going to be in the show notes to learn how you can join WWA and learn about real estate investing and actually get your first or next property. But before we get started, if you are the kind of woman who has done everything right on paper, but still feels like there is something missing. Maybe you've built the career or you've collected the accolades. Maybe you've even started investing in real estate or you've built a business, but deep down, you know you were meant for something more expansive, more aligned, and more you. Then this is your sign because for the first time ever, I am launching Leap Year. This is my year-long high-touch mastermind for women who are ready to take bold steps towards the life they actually want. Now, we focus on real estate investing, we focus on business building, we focus on wealth strategy, but more importantly, we focus on personal alignment and full body freedom. And yes, this will include a luxury retreat in Italy. Now, this is the only international retreat we're going to be doing over the next year. This is for the woman who's no longer available for burnout, who wants to scale their income and her joy, who's building her next chapter on purpose and not by default. Now, spots are extremely limited. There's literally only 10 spots available, and one of them has already been taken, and I haven't even posted it anywhere yet. And everyone who joins is vetted to ensure the energy in the room is potent. So if you are ready to leap, if you know this is your time, if you are ready to come spend time with me in Italy in May of 2026 and just be in a room, spend the year around people leveling up their lives in an aligned way. This is not about door count or just hitting 7 figures or multiple 6 figures for the sake of it. This is about building an incredibly big, beautiful, aligned business and life, doing it in a way that feels true to you and to your soul. So if you feel like this is you, make sure to apply using the link in the show notes or DM me the word mastermind on Instagram and I will send you the link to apply. I'll be reviewing applications throughout August and then the mastermind starts in September. So get your application in now and I'll be in touch. Now, perks of being a real estate agent. The nice thing about being a real estate agent is you can make a lot of money fast, right? Being a real estate agent is an active job. Like you are making money like the same way that you would in your corporate job, right? That is more so what I would compare being a real estate agent to is like working your corporate job. But it's a sales job at the end of the day. And the great thing about sales job is there is no cap, right? You are truly building a business for yourself as a real estate agent and you can leverage different things. You can hire people, you can use systems and processes, and you can get really, really, really rich if you become a really successful real estate agent. That's the beauty of it. And that's why I got into it is I was like, okay, well, I want to learn how to make money as well outside of my corporate job. So that's why I became a real estate agent. Now, the downfall of being a real estate agent is that it is a job. Like it is a very tough job. It is a job that requires a lot of energy and effort and hustling. And, you think you're going to work for yourself, but really now you're going to go work for 50 other people, really. Like your clients become your boss, basically. And a lot of the thing with, being a real estate agent is it happens during the off times. Yes, you are going to be seeing houses during the day, but like a lot of the time when you're seeing houses with clients, it's after work, it's on the weekends. And so a lot of people struggle to really create that balance for themselves, especially if they're trying to grow and trying to scale. Now, being a real estate agent, you also become other people's therapists, okay? I had clients where they would want to be on the phone with me for many, many hours just talking about their problems and life. And if that doesn't resonate with you, right, do not become a real estate agent. And the struggle with being a real estate agent is you only get paid once the property closes. So if you're working with a client for 5 months, 8 months, a year, and then they suddenly decide they don't want to buy a house, that was essentially wasted time. like you will not get paid anything for the time that you spent working with them, looking at houses, showing houses, even if you get under contract. Like one of my friends, he was working with someone for a few months. They got under contract. They were a day from closing on a property, and last minute they decided that they didn't want the property. So that was like a $20,000 commission gone overnight after months of work. And that is just the business of real estate, being a real estate agent, truly. And, there are more people who are unsuccessful at being real estate agents than there are people who are successful. Like, if you look at the stats, the National Association of Realtors, NAR, which is like the main governing organization, reports that 87% of agents fail within their first 5 years. And failure rates usually tend to range from 75 to 90% in the first few years. So most people who get their real estate licenses don't even sell a house at all, like at all. And what people don't realize, it takes time to actually sell your first house. I remember I sold my first house within the first 4 months of getting my real estate license, which is really short, but that means 4 months of hustling with no return. No return. But it's cool because each house that you do sell, you can make anywhere from like $8,000 to $50,000 on a property, depending on the price of the property. Now, being a real estate investor, the reason I like being a real estate investor is because yes, it is active at first. Whenever you're buying the property, you're looking at numbers, you're researching, maybe you have to get it set up as an Airbnb, but once it's up and running, it's up and running. It is so much less work over the next many years, and you have a way to get consistent income. Like, not like with being a real estate agent, it kind of feels like you're always chasing the sale. With real estate investing, most systems are already put in place. You can get a long-term renter, you can get a midterm renter, you can get a short-term renter. And for me, it doesn't feel like I'm like always chasing the next sale or the next renter, right? And then being a real estate investor, you get a ton of perks that come with real estate investing, like appreciation, like depreciation, like other tax benefits, like cost segregation or bonus depreciation. You don't get this as a real estate agent. And if you're really looking to build true wealth, you're gonna do that through real estate investing. Being a real estate agent can make you rich, but being a real estate investor will make you wealthy. Now, struggles with real estate investing. Real estate investing takes a lot of money. Being a real estate agent doesn't. It's going to cost you about $2,000 to $3,000 to get your real estate license. Being a real estate investor, you have to buy a house, right? So you have to buy a house. You have to have access to capital, and there are many ways that you can do this, right? There are low down payment loans, which is what I talk about a lot, especially if you're house hacking. But you still need access to capital. I never recommend anyone who has less than like $15,000, $20,000 in the bank account to buy a property, because if something happens, you're screwed. Being a real estate investor is also a lot more of a commitment, right? Because you're buying a house, you're ideally going to hold on to it for at least a couple of years. I always tell people to invest for the long term, invest for 10 years, invest for 20, 30 years. Don't invest for 2 years because you don't know what the market's going to look like in 2 years. And that's such a short time period to bank on. Now, to answer the age old question, do you need your real estate license to become a real estate investor? The answer is no. No, you don't. I actually recommend most people do not get their real estate license if you want to become a real estate investor. If you're currently working a really solid job, you're doing well in it, you don't hate it, maybe you don't love it, but you don't hate it, it's relatively easy or it's relatively straightforward, or maybe you're super passionate about it, don't get your real estate license. Just work with a real estate agent and focus on becoming a real estate investor, because that will take your money so much further and you'll be able to focus on the things that actually matter. Now, who should get their real estate license? If you absolutely hate your job, you're looking for a career change, you're ready to freaking hustle your butt off, then yes, go ahead, get your real estate license. It could be a great career shift, a way to make money. Now, note that this can slow down your ability to invest in real estate, because it's a lot easier to invest in real estate when you do have a corporate W-2 job, stable income coming in. But there are other ways to buy properties where it doesn't have to be dependent on your corporate job. I just always recommend you have a lot more money saved and a lot more capital to invest in real estate if you're going to go that route. But like, for example, for me, I knew I didn't want to be a chemical engineer anymore. And so that is why I also got my real estate license, because I was testing out different new career paths that I could possibly go down. And I knew that even if I learned more just about the real estate transaction process, that would be beneficial for me as a real estate investor. But you can also learn that without becoming a real estate agent. Another reason why you could or may want to get your real estate license, if you know you're really picky. So for me, part of the allure to getting my real estate license is I knew that I was going to be annoying for my first property. I knew I was going to be very particular. It's so funny. I was chatting with my friend. This was when I was first finding a property, and she was a real estate agent at the time, and she would always send me properties. And I was like, nope, not that one. I was so picky. And so I liked having control over being a real estate agent for my own properties. That being said, I'd also sold a bunch of properties before buying my first property. So I had a lot more knowledge under my belt too, in terms of how to negotiate, how to do things. These are things we actually teach in the Wanderlust Wealth Academy as well. And yes, you do make commission off of the sale of your own property. So that was a cool thing, is I got to roll my commission, which was about $8,000 for my very first property, into my closing costs. But it's not worth it to get that just to get the commission, because there's so many other annoying things that come with being a real estate agent. Now, who should not get their license? If you just want to dabble, maybe you just want to like try it out and see, I can promise you're not going to be successful as a real estate agent. Like, you have to be fully committed, all in, ready to go, ready to hustle. If you want to see any returns, this is why so many people fail at real estate, right? It's because they just want to dabble and get a side hustle. Being a real estate agent really doesn't work super well as a side hustle because it takes a lot of time and energy. If you don't like talking to people, if you don't like kind of being other people's therapists, don't get your real estate license. That is literally the entire job. And then also, if you just think it's going to be easy and you like pretty houses and going to open houses, do not get your real estate license. Once again, there are so many other annoying factors about being a real estate license, like having to host open houses. They seem really fun. You're like, oh, I'm going to bake cookies. No, it's you sitting there for 2 hours with barely anyone coming through the door. You're bored. You're like, I'm not getting any business for this. You're hoping for someone to come in so you can get a client. Like, it's not glamorous, okay? Now, I do still have my real estate license because I have a real estate business, right? Like, I have a real estate coaching business. I've been talking about real estate for the last 5 years. Everyone in my community knows that I'm in real estate. I really built that trust. And so I use it just to get referral income. It's become a very passive income stream for me, where I refer people that I know, or people who are in my coaching program, or people who have met me through different events and things like that. I refer them to real estate agents who are investor friendly and really good real estate agents. And so then I get a part of that real estate agent's commission for referring them clients. Now, I love this income stream. I don't plan on getting rid of it anytime soon. It is one that you have to work on, right? Like, I know it sounds really easy in the sense of like, it is in the sense like you're not really having to do much work except for connect people. But in order to get consistent referral income, once again, you have to be known in your community as the real estate person. I have a social media that talks about real estate. I have a coaching program where I have students who are buying real estate. So that's why it works for me. For most people, if you get your license, you're probably not going to make a ton of money referring. If that is the strategy that you wanted to go, you have to put the effort in to market yourself as the real estate person. Okay, so I hope that that was helpful. I know that that was a lot, but overall, most people should not get their real estate license unless you are looking to really like create a new business for yourself, like not do it as a side hustle and really like go all in into becoming a real estate agent. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Let me know if it was, and feel free to message me on Instagram or tag me to let me know that you listened to this episode. Okay, bye. Thank you so much for listening to Wanderlust Wealth Show. Now, don't forget to follow the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you love this episode, it would literally mean the world to me if you shared this with a friend or a family member, or literally like anyone off of the street. Like right now, go ahead, share it so you don't forget, or post it on social media and make sure to tag me. I love seeing what you're listening in on and what you resonated with, and I'm just so freaking thankful for you. I'm so freaking excited for you. I love you, and don't forget, life really doesn't have to be hard.